Creation of digital public goods. India has been leveraging technology to improve access to education, ensure its continuity and provide quality online educational content to its students. Now as G20 president, India has the opportunity to help other G20 countries, particularly low-income countries, bridge digital divides within, by encouraging deliberation on a host of issues such as ensuring access to infrastructure, affordable devices, quality internet connectivity, trained teachers and facilitators, relevant educational content, resources and digital skills. India's G20 presidency can be an occasion to bridge gaps where needed. Here's what India is doing in the domain of technology-enabled education and how it can promote collaboration on the same among G20 member states.
Technologies are permeating lives of students and teachers at all levels of education, a trend accelerated by emergence of COVID pandemic. Now technology-enabled learning is increasingly being deployed to ensure access to and continuity of education. The Government of India too recognizes technology-enabled learning as a force multiplier for expanding educational access and enhancing student learning. That is reflected in India's National Education Policy or NEP unveiled in 2020 and various e-learning projects being undertaken in the country that cover school and higher education. Terming India as a global leader in information and communication technology, NEP 2020 proposes a National Educational Technology Forum or NETF. The policy notes, use and integration of technology to improve multiple aspects of education will be supported and adopted, and an autonomous body, the NETF, will be created to provide a platform for free exchange of ideas on use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, administration and so on, both for school and higher education. The aim of NETF will be to facilitate decision-making on the induction, deployment and use of technology by providing to the leadership of education institutions, state and central governments and other stakeholders the latest knowledge and research as well as opportunity to consult and share the best practices.
The National Educational Technology Forum is being formed. This will create an e-education unit to boost the digital infrastructure, digital content and capacity. Virtual labs are being established to provide hands-on experience to learners.
To ensure e-learning, the Government of India is trying to take technology-enabled education to even the remote corners of the country by encouraging several e-learning projects such as SWAYAM, Swayamprabha, National Digital Library, e-Yantra and Virtual Lab that are helping students and teachers in upskilling as well as providing them quality resources. While the Education Working Group under past G20 presidencies have discussed the use of technology for educational continuity, universal access, addressing challenges of digital divide, impact on early learners, issues of data privacy, cyber safety and responsible use of technology, yet during COVID-19 pandemic, some parts of G20 countries remained without access to online and hybrid mode of learning, and 50% of children in about one-third low-income countries had no access to remote learning. As G20 president, India now has an opportunity to help, particularly these low-income countries, overcome their digital divide. At the same time, it can promote collaboration between G20 member states on the emerging trends and changing patterns in the use of digital and tech solutions in education, so that appropriate policies and practices can be identified for safe and purposeful use of educational technology by G20 countries and their partners. Bureau Report, DD India.
And for perspective, we are being joined by Anil Sahasrabuddhe. He is Chairman, National Educational Technology Forum or NETF and former AICTE Chairman. NETF is an autonomous body envisaged by NEP to provide a platform for free exchange of ideas on the use of technology for school and higher education. Also joining us is Dr. Amrendra P. Behra. He is Joint Director of Central Institute of Educational Technology or CET with NCERT. CET is a premier National Institute of Educational Technology and its major aim is to promote utilization of educational technologies. Such a pleasure to have the distinguished guests with us on India at G20. Dr. Behra, I'll begin with you. The National Education Policy 2020 envisages integration of technology with all levels of education, and India is already doing that through various ICT initiatives of the Ministry of Education, for instance, Diksha, Swayam Prabha, PM E-Vidya, to name a few. But is G20, according to you, an occasion for India to promote joint initiatives with various G20 member states, and including those low-income countries that may not be part of G20, because India has said that it will be a voice of the global south and several such countries will be invited by India. So is it an occasion for India to encourage joint projects or initiatives which are related to EdTech and thus help these countries bridge the digital divide within?
Thank you very much, Munmun. Indeed, I strongly feel that India can provide a helping hand among all the member countries, including you were mentioning about the developing countries or underdeveloped countries also in EdTech. And also Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe is already there. He is chairing the NETF in India, and under the Prime Minister's E-Vidya program. So you mentioned a few initiatives like Diksha, like even Nistha, the integrated teacher training program for scaling 8.5 million teachers across the country, because according to our Honorable PM, the EdTech can help us in skilling, even scaling, even at a speed also. He said skill, scale and speed together can be achieved using EdTech. And even in COVID pandemic situation, there was a challenge for teacher training in India also, because schools were closed, so teachers were not coming to school. So under the broad umbrella of PM E-Vidya program, so there were 12 DTS TV channels under one class, one digital platform launched by Government of India. So a large number of digital contents were prepared in multiple Indian languages, predominantly Hindi and English, Urdu and Sanskrit, developed by NCERT, and it was spread across the country. Keeping in view the success of this, the Government of India has already announced 200 more TV channels for the whole country. In a way, if we talk about the G20 countries, even our India's neighbor countries, so we are also developing Nepali content in India, because some of the states are using that. Even Tamil contents are developed in India. So even other countries like Bangla content is also developed in India. So these can be very useful not only for G20 countries, for our neighbors also. And besides that, Diksha is one nation, one digital platform under Prime Minister's E-Vidya program, which is harboring more than 6,500 digital books, more than 3 lakh digital contents in 33 Indian languages, Indian and foreign languages. So, and nearly 8,000 plus courses, and all the states, almost all the national organizations, they are contributing towards this. And every day we are having a footfall of 3 to 5 crore learners on Diksha. So in a way, so this can be an offering for all G20 countries, Diksha, as a solution for content development, dissemination and running of online courses at scale, at India's scale. I think none of other countries will have scale at India's level, because 8.5 million teachers, school teachers itself, no other country will be having. So in that case itself, this is a digital public good also, already declared by Ministry of Finance, the whole Government of India, Diksha as a digital public good. and this can be offered to all G20 countries to use that. And you rightly mentioned, Munmun, that virtual labs, we have already in collaboration with some institutions in India like SIDAC, Amrita and NCRT, we have pulled together 200 plus virtual labs, which is absolutely free on the web. So the G20 countries can absolutely start using that. And translation and transcription is also a major key, and India is having several platforms like Bhasini, using which different language translation is also possible. So we can provide that support to other countries also. Similarly, AR and VR content also, and recently Government of India has also launched the AVGC guideline, particularly animation, visual effects, graphics and comics. For this, Government of India has already brought out one document. Under that, a large number of digital contents and variety of contents is possible. And also the Diksha platform is designed in such a way that any stakeholder can contribute content under Vidyadan. Nearly 11,000 content contributors are there, including NGOs, corporates and all. So this will be indirectly, directly an offering for all G20 countries, including the developing and underdeveloped countries from India.
Okay. So you've given us a comprehensive response on the various ICT initiatives of India and how India can collaborate with various G20 member states through these initiatives or share them as our best practices. Now, Mr. Sahasrabudhe, the National Education Policy 2020 envisaged NETF, of which you are the chairman, as an autonomous body which will be responsible in a sense to integrate technology in school as well as higher education. What is the status currently of the NETF and what role possibly can India play as far as promoting tech-enabled education is concerned in G20 member countries, also in other invited low-income countries?
Yeah, Munmunji, it's very nice that you asked a very relevant question. National Educational Technology Forum was envisaged as per NEP 2020. It has come in place. It is a platform where different players in the entire segment will come together. There will be exchange of ideas on the use of technology, validation of those technologies, enhancing the learning of students in a manner that it would be very easy and interesting for them. And that's why, like Behraji rightly mentioned, how we make use of the emerging technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality, extended reality, metaverse, as well as AVGC, audio-visual content, graphics. There will be also animation, animated content, and also comics, through which, right from school children, how we can teach them the very difficult subjects which are STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, which is very difficult to some of the students because there are no good teachers in remote areas. NETF will provide a platform for several edutech companies to come out with excellent content which will be exciting, interesting, so that their interest will further grow in the process. And there will be a lot of exchange of ideas so that many people who would like to provide support, they are all required to come onto this platform. There will be a sandbox environment, there will be testing, and then it will be deployed for all people, all states, all universities, whether it is state or private, whether it is schools or high schools, everyone can make use of this technology-enabled learning for all of us. Going back, we have that experience and expertise, as pointed out by Behraji. We started with NPTEL long ago in terms of engineering courses, subsequently virtual labs. From 2003 to 2007 was an exciting journey. Followed by that, we had the Swayam, the MOOC platform which is created, and also DTH channels, 33 of them are there, which are Swayam Prabha channels. They are also expanded now to 60, and then further 200 are going to be added. I think we are empowering the entire nation, nook and corner of the country, but more importantly, all of this is available free of cost, not only for Indians, but for the rest of the world as well. We already saw in our Swayam courses, more than 100 odd countries are participating. They are using this technology, which we have enabled them. We have a translation tool developed indigenously, AI-based translation tool, and therefore not only in Indian languages but some of the foreign languages also, people can use this content by using the translation tool. I think we are the nation who are tech-enabled, digital India. We are the one where technology emanates, and if the role of G20, where our Honorable Prime Minister is the chairman for this current year, we are throwing open all of these facilities which are there for us, not only to ourselves, but also to many of the developing countries, not only G20, but beyond that. And that is what the role we are going to play.
Right. Now, one common question I want to ask the two of you, and Dr. Behra, particularly on school education, I want to ask you about whether India has identified some best practices and educational models in various G20 countries, which it would also want to collaborate with or incorporate in EdTech in schools.
Munmun, particularly if we talk about the digital books, the Korean and Finland models are also very good. And we have also developed e-books at India, and all the NCERT textbook have been digitized with resources embedded into it through QR codes. And the learning from other countries, particularly from Korea and Finland, as far as the digital book and PAL, personalized adaptive learning models are concerned. So we need to learn from each other also. And I must mention that in India, we have platforms which runs at scale, because Indian scale is second to none. So in that case, these technologies can immediately be utilized by other countries, as Professor Anil Sadgopalji also mentioned. Even one more thing I would like to mention, recently with the call of Honorable Prime Minister, when he saw the Vidya Samiksha Kendra of Gujarat, we have started development of Vidya Samiksha Kendra across the country. Even at the national level, it is set up at NCERT also, so that we can monitor the EdTech projects on real time, so that we can see that, okay, if Arunachal Pradesh there are 10,000 to 15,000 teachers, then whether their training has been done in a real-time manner or not, and how many districts are left behind, they need to pick up the speed. So similarly, all the states in India, they are going ahead with setting up a Vidya Samiksha Kendra, which will be a data center and AI driven. So in that case, this can be a solution to be offered for other countries also from India. Similarly, as Professor Anil Sadgopalji mentioned, that on AI, even augmented reality and virtual reality content, so India is having a lot of expertise and a lot of material has been developed. So this can be offered to other countries to do that, and use that, even develop in other languages also, it will be easy. Similarly, translating the content in other languages also in other countries. So our translation tools, which is made in India, made for the world, so can be used by other countries for translation, transcription and subtitling in the content. And one more thing I would like to mention, India also has, we have developed a mobile app for screening of disability children at a preliminary level. So it is made because we know that there are a lot of children who are disabled, so they need to be identified at an early stage, and educational attention need to be given to them also, so that their comparable quality education is given to them. So therefore, such kind of initiatives are very unique and can be offered to any country. And definitely the drone technology also similarly. So we need to learn from each other, and if Israel is doing well in this, India also has done a lot of work on drone technology. So we need to learn from each other and also make it global, so that all the G20 countries, and also you were mentioning about the low income countries, so they can also use this kind of sharing of resources and the tech platforms and the solutions. And as Professor Anil Sadgopalji mentioned, that in India we are also thinking that we need not to rediscover the wheel again and again. So how integratedness and inclusiveness and a federated structure for EdTech solutions can be developed, so that all the applications, they can interact with each other and we can get the data emitted from them, and data analytics can be provided at the national level, at the state level, for decision making, for funding, for monitoring of the projects on real-time basis, tracking of various projects, so that can be done. Thank you, Munma.
Right. Mr. Sahasrabudhe, in the context of higher education, what are the educational models that India would like to collaborate with as far as G20 member states are concerned?
See, national education policy also talks about internationalization and how our students also get exposure to different countries, their cultures is also equally important, and how different countries also will get an option to look at our Indian values, Indian value system, Indian knowledge systems. I think all of that can be enabled through the use of technology. There is always give and take, therefore some of the technologies developed in the foreign countries can be made use of here, but we have high capability in terms of technology, both in the software and today also in the hardware. We had a recently toy hackathon, which has been a roaring success in terms of producing toys which are education oriented, where you also learn a subject matter, but at the same time the values can be imparted to our students, and this will go a long way in terms of enabling not only our countrymen but also neighboring countries and other G20 countries and developing countries to make use of our content. That is very, very important. And not only that, whether it is internships where students will get hands-on experience, therefore project-based learning based on whatever problem-solving ability, it is not only provided for our Indian students, but any student from anywhere in the world can also make use of the opportunities which we are providing. We have a special teacher training program, faculty development program, faculty certification program. I think many of the initiatives which we undertook during pandemic, it is a mind-boggling thing, because the use of technology we could reach out and our education never stopped despite physical education was not possible. It was possible in an online mode, be it conduct of examination, be it conduct of admission tests. So therefore, we are rich, as rightly pointed out by Amrendra Behera. We have speed, scale, quality, and therefore we must appreciate that and then move ahead to provide a global leadership during the G20. Our leadership role is very, very important for all of us.
Right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Mr. Sahasrabudhe and Dr. Behera, for joining us with your insights on tech-enabled education and how that can make education more inclusive, open and resilient. Moving on, Australia's High Commissioner to India, Barry O'Farrell, has said that Australia welcomes India as the G20 president, adding that there is no country in the world that better understands the importance of economic growth for the development of people, and asserting that India is best placed in the world to manage the ongoing global economic crisis. Listen in.
Australia welcomes India's presidency of the G20. There is no country in the world that better understands the importance of economic growth to the development of citizens. There's no country better placed in the world to manage the global crisis in the economy that we're facing than India is as part of the G20 process. As I've said before, prosperity delivers peaceful, prosperous outcomes. And what India is bringing to the G20 presidency is a perspective that we've not had before. From a country that has a One World, One Family initiative, a country that's determined to address sustainability, and a country that understands, as I said, the importance of economic growth to the future of every citizen, not just within India but across the world.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with His Majesty King Charles III of the United Kingdom on Tuesday night. A number of subjects of mutual interest were discussed during the call, including climate action, conservation of biodiversity, innovative solutions for financing, energy transition, etc. Prime Minister briefed His Majesty on India's priorities for his G20 presidency, including propagation of digital public goods. He also explained the relevance of Mission Life, a lifestyle for environment, through which India seeks to promote environmentally sustainable lifestyles. That's Prime Minister's tweet after the conversation with King Charles of the UK. And with that, we come to the close of this edition of India at G20. Thanks for watching.
Do you think the younger generation is even interested in the Upanishads?
Yes.
Do you think the younger generation is interested in cultural activities that ICCR offers?
I must tell you that younger generation, younger talents, and the way they are manifesting Indian culture, I think is really very brilliant.
Culture is also about a vibrant democracy.
Of course, the culinary and cuisines, our democracy, our philosophy, our language, Sanskrit, Ayurveda, everything is a part of our culture, and ICCR is working on all these fronts.
You will meet a startup champion incubator, that is Access Livelihoods Foundation, and a special mentor and a guest, that's Pranab Bhatia.
When we enter into incubation programs or an acceleration program with the women, we provide a time scale of anything between 3 to 8 years.
How do we see their produce coming, aggregated and sold in the market, which gives them higher income as compared to what they can do at their doorstep?
What exactly is the difference between an incubator and an accelerator?
An accelerator is more like an MBA program where you do your MBA and then you are on your own, whereas an incubator kind of keeps working with you for an extended period of time and is very well deep involved with you over a period of time.
सर आपका KYC अपडेट करना है, नहीं तो अकाउंट और ATM कार्ड ब्लॉक हो जाएगा।
सावधान, सावधान। 2.5 करोड़ का इनाम मुझे। देखिए, अनजाने कॉल्स, फर्जी ईमेल्स, लिंक्स और जाली ऐप से अपना पिन, OTP, पासवर्ड कभी भी किसी के साथ शेयर न करें। आप रहेंगे सावधान तो नहीं होगा नुकसान। RBI कहता है, जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
The changing world of news. Headlines that you wake up to. News that shapes your day. Stories that matter to you. The latest and most accurate updates. A fresh start to a new day. The Breakfast News, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. on DD India.